Just recently, I was at a park and I was playing with some beginner players. While playing with them, I gave them a few tips here and there. And when I was done, I identified 5 key things that they were doing incorrectly that they could do better. And it's 5 things that most beginners do wrong. So let's get right to it. Hey, I'm Kyle, and this is the That Pickleball Guy YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. I do tips. I also share some of the journey that I'm on to playing pro pickleball, and I'm gonna help you guys along the way. Gosh, I hated that. So I got the most beginner pickleball player I could find. I typed in beginner pickleball player on Craigslist, and this guy showed up. So I paid him $100 to come to my house. So Danny's gonna help me. Danny, are you ready?
I'm ready.
What do you want to learn today?
I don't even know how to play pickleball.
You want to learn the 5 mistakes that beginners make?
Yeah, let's learn the first 5.
You can't even speak English. Okay. All right, so let's jump right in. All right, here's mistake number 1. It's something I see so many beginner players do. It's when they serve and step in. I'll say it again. They serve and step in. That's bad. Here's why, okay? When I serve the ball, according to the rules, right, I'm gonna serve it, the ball's gonna come back. And I have to let the ball bounce before I hit it again, right? So I cannot serve it, come in, and hit it out of the air. I'd immediately lose the point. So because of that, I gotta take that into consideration. So if I serve the ball and I step in, and they hit a good deep return, I'm gonna have to back up. And the moment I have to back up, all of a sudden, all of my weight is coming backward. And the moment my weight is coming backward, I'm gonna either have to pop the ball up, which is gonna be high for an immediate put away, and they're gonna potentially put the ball away, or I might just miss wild. If I'm off balance, I'm gonna have a much more difficult time making the shot. So here's what you do instead. Instead of serving and stepping in, what I wanna do is I wanna serve and stay. So I serve it. Yikes, mama have mercy. Okay, this is not as easy as it looks. Okay, I wanna serve and stay where I'm at so that my next movement can be forward. So I'm either gonna serve and stay, or serve, and if it's a good return, maybe I take one step back to allow myself to move forward. So I serve it, stay in, now I'm gonna move in and hit my next shot. When you serve it, don't serve and step in, serve and stay. Serve and step in is mistake number 1, so you wanna serve and stay on your serve. Mistake number 2 is players on their 3rd shot, in my opinion, driving the ball way too much. So what does that mean? What's your 3rd shot? Well, your 3rd shot is after I serve it, so Danny's back at the baseline. When I serve the ball, this is shot number 1. Danny is shot number 2, and this is our 3rd shot. You have a couple options on your 3rd shot. One of them is the drive. A drive is essentially, you go to hit the ball hard, right? So I'm here, and I hit a really hard shot. That's a 3rd shot drive. What I see a big mistake that beginner players make is, 1, they're very bad at the 3rd shot drive, but they love to hit it because it's pickleball and everybody wants to hit the ball as hard as they possibly can. So my encouragement to you is actually drive the ball way less. Just the other day when I was at the park, I was playing with a guy, and as I played this guy for the first time, he hit 8 balls, 3rd shots, either out or into the net. So he essentially gave up 8 chances to win a point because he drove it into the net. Now, listen, if you're a tennis player and you actually have a really nice drive ball, then I would say drive it until the person that you're playing against shows you they can handle it. But for a majority of first-time players, trying to rip every single ball is actually just a really bad strategy. Here's what you should do instead. It's called a 3rd shot drop. The goal of the 3rd shot drop is, 1, that's your 1st shot. 2nd shot is to hit the ball in a way that actually lands in the kitchen. Here's why you do that. 1, your drive is probably horrible right now, okay? It can get better, but it's probably not that good. So you actually want to take a softer approach that will allow you, and this is higher level stuff right here, but it will allow you to get to that kitchen line. So I hit it, ball comes back, I drop the ball into the kitchen, and now I play what so many pickleball players have a lot of trouble figuring out early on is the soft game, okay? So it's the 3rd shot drop. The same guy that had just drove 8 balls into the net or out, just 2 games later, I gave him the suggestion, don't drive any balls this game, just hit drops. And in his 4th game, he went 13 for 15 on drops. He turned into an absolute dropping machine. So if his conversion on 3rd shots was 13 for 15 on drops versus, I think it was like 2 for 16 on his drives, play the percentages, play the shot that's gonna help you win more points. Because honestly, what happens for a lot of beginners is they just lose points. The other team doesn't win them, they give away points. Whereas at the beginner levels, if you just get the ball into the kitchen, get to the kitchen line, and then start dinking, which we're gonna talk about here in a moment, the other team's just gonna lose the point, and then you're gonna win it that way. Well, Danny, my beginner friend Danny is at 2nd Jensen. I think that's, actually it's irrelevant, he's not good at pickleball. He's a beginner, he doesn't know anything. I'm just kidding, he's my friend. I'm just kidding, he's a paid actor. Okay, so here's the third mistake. It's being sporadic at the kitchen line versus standing their ground at the kitchen line. So here's what that looks like, being sporadic at the kitchen line. So we're in a dinking battle here, right? So we're at the kitchen line and we're playing the soft game. And what I saw a ton, especially the other night when I was playing, was that every time the players I was playing with got dinked to, they took these sporadic movements. They were back, forward, back, forward. I'm gonna be a little exaggerative here, but honestly, not really. This is what I saw, right? They were here, well, daggone it.
No, that is what you saw.
Actually, that is what I saw. I saw a lot of balls into the net. Okay, here we go, so when you down. So we're dinking, right? Because they're just not, oh shoot, I didn't even miss that one. But they're just not confident yet. So they're back and they're forward. And they're back and they're forward. And they're back and they're forward. Instead of being sporadic at the kitchen line, stand your ground at the kitchen line. And so what does that look like? It means you're dinking, and if you can take one out of the air, you do. If you need to move, you either move to the side or a slight backward diagonal movement. There we go. And you stay strong. And part of the reason is, number one, you're on balance when you're strong at the kitchen line. All this motion around the kitchen line is just throwing you off balance, which what it leads to, honestly, is pop-ups, right? And all of a sudden, they're gonna put the ball away. Now, on the flip side, as we're dinking, another reason you don't wanna get backed off the kitchen line is if they ever pop the ball up, you wanna be able to smash the ball, which is maybe the most fun thing in pickleball. Here's mistake number 4, taking unnecessarily monster, big, ginormous, large swings.
Yeah.
So here's what happens a ton, especially for beginners. It used to happen to Danny and it used to happen to me all the time when we first started playing. You see that ball that looks like it's kind of high, and all you're thinking is, I'm about to annihilate this ball into the person that's in front of me. Maybe not that mean, but you're gonna annihilate it somewhere in the court for a winner, right? And so what ends up typically happening is this, right? The ball's not high enough, and literally that happens. You hit the ball and you get so frustrated, like, right? Because the ball literally hits the tape. And it happens more than you might think. Part of the reason why is because the ball is too low, you're taking a downward swing, and what's gonna happen when you take a downward big swing is it's gonna go down directly into the net. So here's what to do instead of taking these unnecessarily big swings. Now, if there is an overhead, the ball's above your head, for sure, crush the snappers out of it. So throw it up real quick, you're here, boom, right? Danny just freaked out. He's not on camera right now, but he almost got hit, right? Crush those balls, But if the ball is around the forehead and below area, here's what you do instead. You punch, 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 forehand punch, backhand punch. It's not a big swing, it's a punch, right? And I'm gonna get a little bit lower as I go for that punch. I'm here, boom, boom, boom. So I get my body low, right? And so I can still get a little bit of a downward motion, but as I get low, I'm just looking to punch to remove error. If you do this, you're gonna have a ton less errors into the net, and you're gonna have way more good shots hit where your opponent's gonna have trouble hitting the ball back, or they're gonna pop up another ball, and then you will get the overhead that you really want. That's mistake number 4. Oh, Danny boy, welcome back. Okay, all right, so here's mistake number 5, Danny. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
Take a guess. I haven't told you what this is yet. Do you know? Take a guess at what it is.
Day 2.
That took too long.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You can just have
here's mistake number 5. It's being closed-minded. Part of the beauty of pickleball is how simple it is, yet honestly how complex it is as well. Because it's simple, you can go out there and you can play and you can have fun the first time, but as you get better and better and better, just like anything in life, the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know. And so I was at the park recently and there was a guy there who'd been playing for maybe just a few months, and he definitely thought he was way better than he was, and when he made mistakes, he thought he knew the correction for him, but he actually didn't. Whereas this guy, player number 2, super open. And so my encouragement to you, the flip side of being closed-minded, being open-minded, but the actual tip for you is get feedback, seek feedback. So if you're at the park with a bunch of people, walk up to somebody after you play with them. If there's a group of 4 and someone on your court is significantly better than you, just go up and ask them, what's one thing you saw me do, or one thing you saw in my game I could improve on? People love to help each other, right? They love to share everything they know, especially in pickleball. Everyone has every answer, right? I sometimes feel the same way about myself. I gotta check myself and sometimes even ask you well, probably not you.
You just have to say that you're fine. You're not.
Just kidding, you're so smart. But you ask somebody. Here's the second thing. If you don't have a player on your court who is significantly better than you, and say you're at a bigger complex, look around and you're probably gonna find a player and just watch them and observe what they do. Watch what they do with their drives, watch what they do with their dinks, with their shot selection, with their interactions with their teammate. And just by watching and observing, you're gonna learn a ton that way, and that's another way of getting feedback. So don't be closed-minded, be open-minded, and you're gonna accelerate your improvement faster than you ever thought possible. Anything to add?
No, that's pretty good, actually.
First compliment this guy's ever given me. I mean, we just met, but okay. All right, so here's a bonus one. I said I was gonna give you 5 mistakes. I'm actually gonna give you 6. Here's the bonus. The mistake is having paddle position low. All right, so here's the thing. Back to my buddy player number 2. When we were playing at the park, he was doing awesome, right? He was hitting great third shot drops. He actually became a machine very quickly, and he was doing an awesome job. And then, say the ball was a little bit high, and he had to reset it, or I had to reset it to get us to the kitchen. We did that. And then when we got to the kitchen, the mistake that he kept making early on was he would get there and do all the hard work to get there, and then he was playing with his paddle down here. And so if your paddle's down here and somebody goes to hit a ball close to your face, right? I gotta move my paddle all the way from down here to up here, which is very inefficient. Work smart, not necessarily hard here. When you get to the kitchen line, this is one of the first things that I learned when I started playing, and it was game changing for me immediately, was I got into a ready position, which was basically I'm down in a stance ready, active, ready to move. And my paddle is right in front of my face. Now it's not in front of my face so I can't see the ball necessarily, right? Even though you can still kind of see through it, but it's just a little bit down. So anytime someone did speed up the ball, which when you're playing beginners, people are gonna hit the ball hard all the time because it's the way they play. So if it's really, really high above your head, let it go out. But if it's around your face area and all you can do is block it, you wanna have your paddle here so that as you go, boom, I'm just here to boom, boom, boom. So Danny and I are playing. So we're here playing, we're gonna dink, paddle goes back up each time. I'm just ready. So anytime that somebody does speed it up, boom. Ah!
I thought I was pretty good.
You're ready for it. So that was what?
I thought I was pretty good for the first time playing.
That was a really good time. You've never played before?
Never.
Someone's gotta pick you up. That's so good, all right? So keep your paddle position high. So Danny, I'm gonna give him a challenge. You cool with that?
Let's go.
Okay, so here's the challenge for you. I just gave you 6 mistakes that beginners make and how to avoid them. The next time you go and play, maybe it's this afternoon, or maybe it's tomorrow, or maybe it's the next day. Write down 2 of these tips, ways to avoid these mistakes, and then go implement these 2 things. Don't try to do all 6 in the first time. It'll be too much to remember. You'll be overwhelmed, especially as you're just learning the game. You don't want to do more than maybe 1 or 2 things. So do 2 things. Then the next time you go out, add a 3rd thing, and then a 4th thing, and then a 5th thing, until eventually you're doing all 5 of these things pretty naturally, and you're gonna find yourself winning a ton of games. So in conclusion, here's a quick recap of the 6 mistakes. Mistake number 1, don't serve and step in, serve and stay. Mistake number 2, avoid too many third shot drives. Instead, try a third shot drop. Mistake number 3, don't be sporadic at the kitchen line, but stand strong at the kitchen line. Number 4, avoid unnecessarily big swings at balls that are really not attackable, that are around your face area or your chest area. Mistake number 5, being closed-minded, and instead seek feedback so you can improve faster. And then mistake number 6 is your paddle position. Don't have your paddle down low, have your paddle in a ready position. If you liked this video, what should they do?
Subscribe.
I mean, yeah, if they want to. Yeah, that's pretty good. Comment below one area of the game that you'd like me to make another video on, and I'll do that so you can learn and get better at this game. This game's so fun.
Yes.
I love pickleball.
I'm really good at it.
Pickleball! I love pickleball! Oh, yeah. All right, thanks for your time. I'll Venmo you 100. Hopefully we're not still rolling.